What is possible for you to do in 30 days to transform your life? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do in 30 days to transform your life so you can go to a place that you've never been before. So are you ready to transform your life in the next 30 days? This is no joke. This is the real deal. And I'm going to share with you some real inspiration. Look, we know people don't change when we tell them what to do. I'm sure in your life, you're fed up with people telling you what to do. People change when their perspective changes. And I really want to give you a different perspective of what you could do just in 30 days. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey to time travel. Now, when I was young, I used to love this TV program called Doctor Who. And in Doctor Who, he could go in this thing called a TARDIS, which was this little box that was a spaceship. And he could go in this box and he could end up going into the future, into the past. And I believe we can do those things in our mind, you know, and great people, great inventors, they have gone into the future. They see a problem and they see something that they can do, something that they can make that would be of use to people in the future. Now, we can do that ourselves, and maybe we've done that in our lives many times, but I think we forget just how great we could actually be at creating a compelling future. And this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to imagine that in 30 days time, you are going to become a different person, right? You're going to become a person that over the next 30 days, you are really going to work on becoming this person. Look, ultimately, you're here now. This is where you are right here, right now. And this is where you'd like to be. Now, as a coach, that's what I'm interested in. As a coach, you're like, where are you? Where do you want to go? And as a sports psychologist, when I work with a top athlete, I'll ask them the question, you know, what do you want? This is where you are. You've come here for a reason. You want something in the future. What do you want? Now, invariably, we get to the point where they will say, well, I want to win. I want to win the gold medal. I want to win the world championship. And I'll ask the question, how do you know? How do you know that you would have won? And the only reason they would have known they would have won is because they've thought about it, they can see it. And I would say to them, well, okay, but that's not you. That's not you. This is who you are right now. You could be this person, but we can bet your bottom dollar that you in the future is saying no to things, right? That you in the future has already stopped things that now in this present moment that you're still doing. And ultimately, if we don't look at what we're doing and realize the consequences of where they're going, then most of us just keep repeating what we've been doing in the past. My challenge to you is to imagine that you've been given a script, and you've been given a script of this is the person, this is the movie of your life, this is the part that you're going to have to play. Now, I've mentioned many times on our YouTube channel about Matthew McConaughey, who won the Oscar in 2013, Best Actor, and he talks about who his hero was. He thanks everybody, and then he talks about who his hero is. And he talks about his hero is who he is chasing down his future self. So what I'd like you to do over the next 30 days is to build a relationship to your future self, okay? So how you do that, obviously we want to look at it. But just to give you a little bit of a deeper dive into this, unless you build a compelling relationship to your future self, where do you think you're going to be at this time next year? This time next year, you're going to be exactly where you are. When I grew up, there was a TV program called Only Fools and Horses. And there'd often be this line where the main character would say, this time next year we'll be millionaires. Now, that was never going to happen because they never changed who they were. They kept repeating who they are. And if you keep repeating who you are, you're always going to get what you've always got. And we've seen this in the science lab where we've wired people's brains up and asked them to think about themselves and think about a stranger and then think about themselves in the future. Most people associate a stranger to the future. So what's really, really so important is to create the identity. This is a big word in all of our work in coaching people, creating the identity of who you want to be, because most people in the world are driven by how they feel. Their feelings dictate their actions, and their actions dictate their identity. I want you for the next 30 days of your life, and this is where the magic comes in, I want you to, rather than imagine going to the future and seeing yourself in a year's time or 3 years' time or 5 years' time, this is what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that your future self, who you're going to be in the future, you who is more courageous, more successful, more happier, more productive, is coming to see you. And decides to sit down opposite you and have a conversation with you. Look, we spend huge amounts of time talking to ourselves, and most of what we say to ourselves is useless. It's not relevant. It's the same old narrative. Let's change the narrative. Let's help you get guided by who you're going to become. This is what we see in all films, right? We see every film you can pretty much think of, someone is called to an adventure. They don't want to go. They get a coach. They get a mentor, someone who helps them, someone who is wiser than them, that helps them as they face the hurricane, they face the storm. I would love you to build a relationship to who you are becoming. This isn't just about saving for your retirement. This is about you living a long, happy, healthy, and fulfilled life. And what we want to do is help you create what is known as dynamic tension, feeling the tension that every single day you're having a conversation with your future self. What's your future self saying to you? Because what we want to help you to do is to get traction as you build what is known as identity capital, what you do every single day. So your future self, who is your future self? With the big 3 areas that most people are interested in. If this is the first one of our YouTube videos that you've ever watched, then when we talk about the big 3, we're talking about your health, your relationships, your wealth, and your work, and thinking about who would you be in the future. And this is what I want you to imagine, just for 30 days. This is your script. This is what you're learning, so that in 30 days' time, you go out onto the stage of life and you be this person. Now, of course, it's not about perfection, and you'll often, I don't know whether you've ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, a famous TV comedy show where the character talks about your day self can be all positive and upbeat, but is destroyed by your night self, who with all of your good intentions, they go out the window. The challenge is to get your guidance from who you are becoming. And it's all the little things that you do every single day that start to build up identity capital. So think about your future self and what your future self is saying yes to, that you're saying no to right now. And what your future self is saying no to is what your future self is saying yes to that you're saying no to. Where is that dynamic? Because you can change the dynamic as you start to get traction. Without traction, what is there? There's distraction. What is pulling you away? Are you really creating the future that you want? Your future's unwritten, and you most definitely have the power to change. And what I want you to do is really, every single time you behave in a way that supports your growth, every single time you do it, it's what I want you to do. I want you to say to yourself, that's like me. So every time you get up in the morning without wasting time procrastinating, that's like me. Every time you maybe do something which is good for your health, or every time you make that extra call, or every time you give someone your undivided attention, I want you to tell yourself, that's like me. As you start to create this new version of yourself, so that in 30 days, it's much easier to take on this role, so that in a year's time, maybe I could meet you and give you an award for playing that part so well. Look, it would be so easy to do if I was going to offer you a ton of money and say, listen, I'm going to give you all of this money if you play this role really well. Well, you'd probably do it because you can see the result. I can't make you see the result of what you're going to get, but I know in your mind you can start to convince yourself of the future that you want and want that future. Does this make sense? Are you with me? Are you ready to take your life to a whole new level? Try this for 30 days. 30 days, every single day. Get a seat, sit on that seat, and then get another seat with no one in it. And imagine that your future self has come down to have a conversation with you. What would he say to you, or she say to you, every single day? Take that wisdom and bring it into your life every single day. And every time you do it, what are you going to say? That's like me. And I can't wait to see you at the virtual Oscars talking about how you won this award for becoming the person that you want to be. Try it for 30 days. Watch your life completely change. Great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. Let's design that life today. Thanks for watching. Comment below and let us know, who are you committed to becoming in the next 30 days?